Edition. This is called J2SC. Using J2SC, you can develop Java technology enabled desktop applications, that is a window-based applications. And then you are having micro edition, that is J2ME. Using this micro edition, you can develop applications for mobiles. In your mobiles, you see, when you play a game, first the Java software will be loaded. Whenever you want to open any converter applications or Google Map applications in your mobile, first the Java software is loaded. So whenever you want to develop any application related to mobile or related to any navigators or set-top boxes, this J2ME technology is used. And enterprise edition. Enterprise edition is used for developing the client-side applications, client-server applications, the server-side applications, which follow client-server architecture. So these are the three technology platforms we have. And as I said, there are containers in J2W, that is web container and EJB container. Web container and EJB container. So, and apart from web container and EJB container, you can see one more layer. This is called as database layer, or you can call it as data access layer also. You can call it as, it's a layer where the data will be stored in a database. Here the database can be it can be in the form of a file, or it can be in the form of a table. It can be in the form of a table. So these are the two main containers, that is web container and EJB container. So this is the main architecture, and in this architecture there are some services that has been given. So which container give which service? See, the web container is having JSP and servlet as the two components, two major components here, JSP and servlet. And what does this web container do? Web container, I said, it is a ready-made container given by some third party. You are going to use that web container given by some third party. When you are using this container, it gives some services, it provides some services, like JDBC is one service, JDBC is one service, JNK is one service, multi-threading, exception handling, transactions, JPA, all these are services which is given by default by the container. So you are ready-madely you are going to use that. Under the EJB container, you have EJB as a component. EJB as a component. And then here you have a database. So we can write applications in Java connecting to a database from any environment, using a J2SC environment or using a J2W environment or using a J2ME environment. We can connect to database, either using J2SC or J2W or J2ME. Why? Because the database is very essential to store data. It's actually very essential for enterprise, especially for enterprise applications. The data must be stored in a particular as a resource. As the data will be stored as a resource in a place, that is a database. So you need to continuously access the data. You want to continuously access the data. You want to manipulate the data. So for that, it is very convenient to store in a database. Instead of a file, to store the data in a database, it is very convenient. Why? Because clients are going to continuously access the data. For example, you take any login page applications like for a Gmail or a Yahoo Mail. So you will be continuously entering your username, password, you will be log out, you will be going for logout. You can change your passwords, you can change your welcome screens, you can change. So all these, whenever you do any updations, it will be changed in database. So in a database, your information has to be maintained so that you will be continuously updating these records. So always from Java, from using Java from any environment, you can connect to database. From J2SC you can connect. See, that is what he has given. From J2SC you can connect. From J2W also you can connect to the database. So J2W tied architecture. Here you are seeing client and database. You know what is client and database. And then you have presentation and business. Inside this J2W application tab, you have two types, like the presentation and business. The components which you have seen are like servlet, JSP and EJB. The components which you have seen are servlet, JSP and EJB are used for different purposes. For example, you take servlet, you can see this icon with servlet and JSP. They are used for presentation. They are used for presentation. And you take a component like EJB, any EJB component, it is used for services. Services means like it can be a remote service. Normally service contains a method. It contains some methods, some API. You are going to call that services. So you are going to separate the presentation and the business. So under presentation you have servlet and JSP as a components. Under services you have, under the business you have EJB components. So using EJB you can develop services. And then you have DBMS. This is your resource. That is your database, where the data, whenever you perform any calculation in Java, that data must be stored. So to store the data, we are using a database. Suppose if you want to get any data from database, again database will be very convenient to read the data, and it is faster. It is faster, so that you can read the data in a better way. And you have seen the client. In the client, you can see a web browser. Normally, a client application we can take as a browser. Browser is for a client, and browser is again a ready-made. Like you have different kinds of browser like Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Netscape Navigator. You have Google Chrome. You have different kinds of browsers. From any browser, you can make a request to the Java service. From any browser, you can make the request to the Java